Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti. I am MrPhotographer.com. Last week I did a video demonstrating how to convert and process an image into black and white using Lightroom. After that video posted, someone commented kind of musing, wondering how Silver Efex Pro 2 would do on that same image. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take the same image. If you haven't seen that other video, I'll have a link to it in the description below this video. In that video, I processed this image in a number of different ways using Lightroom. We're going to take the same image and we're going to send it into Silver Efex Pro 2. Also in the description below this video, I'll have links to DxO's website. You could download a free trial version of the Nik Collection, which includes Silver Efex Pro 2, and try it out for yourself. I also have a discount code. I'll have that in the description below this video as well. All right, now as far as Lightroom is concerned, I did do some processing on this image. Here is the totally unprocessed image. You can see I exposed for the sky, so everything else is pretty much underexposed. I went to the basic tab and I did warmed it up just a little bit, and I just did highlight, shadows, whites and blacks, texture, clarity, and then I didn't do anything else there. And then I went down to the HSL tab and I added a lot of orange and yellow saturation. And the color tab, the luminance tab, I brought down orange, brought down yellow, increased green, and brought blue down a little bit. Just made that blue sky a little darker, and that was it, I think. Oh, of course, I did a little bit of sharpening, a little bit of noise reduction. Other than that, that's it. So now I'm ready to send it over to Silver Efex Pro 2. And to do that, I'm just going to right-click right on the image, go down to Edit In, and then over to Silver Efex Pro 2 right there. So we'll click right on that. And it comes up with this dialog box. It's going to create a TIFF file, ProPhoto RGB, 16 bits per component, a resolution of 360 without any compression. I'm going to click Edit. Now in the top left-hand corner, you'll see a progress bar. Lightroom is creating this TIFF file with those specifications, and it will open it up into Silver Efex Pro 2. As soon as it opens in Silver Efex Pro 2, Silver Efex Pro 2 will apply a preset. Silver Efex Pro 2 is a preset-driven application, meaning it will automatically apply this very first preset, 000 neutral. And really all it is, it just converted it to black and white. You can see over on the right-hand side, all the adjustments are at 0. So it really didn't do anything except make it black and white. Now, the idea behind a preset-driven application is that you would pick a preset to get you close to what you want. And if you like it, then by all means, just use it. But otherwise, you adjust from that preset. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll bring an image into Silver Efex Pro 2. I'll look at the left and I'll just click through. I'll look at these previews here and click through ones that look interesting. Like this one looks interesting, but maybe the sky is over the top on this one. I don't really like that. This one's probably similar. So I'll just go through, and I'm kind of subscribed to the notion that light shouldn't be the subject of an image. And by proxy, when you're photographing a landscape with expansive sky, that light really is the sky. So the sky shouldn't be the subject. It should complement the subject. And in this case, the subject is the lighthouse. So I don't want the sky to really take away from the lighthouse. I want it to complement the lighthouse. Let's go to this floor dynamic harsh. This smooth, nothing so far. Full spectrum, that's a little closer to maybe what I want. Spectrum inverse, that one's okay. Fine art process, I kind of like this fine art process. Let's run with this. This is pretty close to what I imagine for the image. So the sky is a nice backdrop that complements the lighthouse. Now we'll go over on the right-hand side, and you can see that there's a number of different global adjustments. First of all, these tone adjustments. Now, if you don't see this, like you'll see a brightness slider and you can see highlights, mid-tone shadows, dynamic contrast. This little triangle, click on it because that triangle is called an expose triangle. When you click on it, it will roll it open and you can see a lot more adjustments. The same is true for the contrast and for the structure as well. So you can see there's a lot of adjustments hidden behind those little triangles. Now for here, I'm going to make the highlights a little brighter. I want the whites to be a lot whiter. So we'll go right to 100. And maybe those midtones we'll bring down a little bit. We'll bring the shadows down just a touch. Maybe. Kind of debating. Yeah, I think we'll Yeah, we'll just open those up. Yeah, we'll open that up a little bit. Let's see what dynamic brightness does. Bring it down, bring it up. What dynamic brightness is supposed to do, it'll affect the overall brightness of the image, kind of the exposure of the image, but not really. Whereas an exposure adjustment will adjust every pixel equally. If you move an exposure slider to the right, it'll make every pixel brighter equally. Same thing if you move it to left, make every pixel darker equally. Dynamic brightness, on the other hand, will bring bright, if you move the slider to the right, it will bring bright pixels to the edge of clipping, but then not clip them, and it will bring then the midtones brighter and everything, so it won't clip. And then similarly, if you move it to the left, it will bring the shadows and the blacks almost to clipping, but not clip, so it won't clip things. Whereas with an exposure slider, you could clip, you could overexpose it or underexpose it. Theoretically, with a dynamic brightness slider, you wouldn't be able to do that. Let's go to contrast. Let's just add some contrast. I didn't like that. We'll reset that. I'm going to roll it open. Let's go to amplify whites, see what that does. Nah, I didn't care for that. Blacks, didn't care for that. Soft contrast, move it to the right. Nah, I didn't care for that. Move it back to the left. Yeah, I kind of like it to the left. There we go. Now that's starting to speak to me a little more. So we like that. We'll go to structure. I'm going to roll it open because I want to just add some midtone structure, I think. I'm going to kind of affect the bricks of the lighthouse a little bit. Fine structure would affect that as well. So that looks pretty good. Now you could protect tonalities if you don't want these adjustments that I just did, above to affect shadows. You can move this to the right so it will not affect shadows. If you don't want it to affect the highlights, move it to the right. It won't affect the highlights. I'm going to keep those both down. So I think we're good there. Now, selective adjustments with control points. I really don't think this image needs any specific control points, but I'll just show you one real quick, just in case you're wondering how this works. If I click on the control point tool to make it active, my cursor turns into this kind of crosshairs bullseye. Let's say I want to affect the water over here. I'll just click once, and you'll see that this kind of bunch of little controls, little sliders gets put down. If I click and hold on this button, you'll see that there's a circle. What it does is right where that little button is, right where I clicked, it looks at the tone and texture mainly, and a little bit on the color of the original color image. And when you move the sliders, the adjustments will only affect similar tone and texture and color that is within that circle. So if I come in and I make it bright, it will just theoretically just do that a little bit. But you can see how it's kind of bleeding out. Tones are very similar in this image, so I could bring that down. So you could affect like just little parts of an image with, in this case, brightness, contrast, and structure. So I could like add structure or remove structure, make the water look a little more kind of misty or blurry. And if you want to duplicate one of these control points with the settings I just did, hold the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and just drag another one off. So you could keep dragging them off like that. You could just affect the water. Now, I don't want to actually do that. That's just not what I think this image needs. So I'm just going to come through and delete these control points. Right there. So I don't need those. But those are control points. Now below that, as we go down further, there's color filters. Now this is as if you were shooting film and you had a color filter on your lens, because the color filter will have the film react specifically to some range of tones that are in the scene. For example, I know the sky is blue, right? If I click on the blue filter, it will allow more blue light through, so the blue becomes brighter. It's going to hit, more blue light will hit the film, and the blues will be brighter. So that's kind of simulating what you would do with film. Now I could come through, there's no filter, so I could go through the various colors and see the effect each of these colors have. Very subtle between those three. That one's a little different. I think right there, I like that. So you could add a color filter. Also, there's a details slider there. You could roll that open and you could actually affect the hue with that slider and the strength. How strong do you want this filter to react or to act on the image? So that's that. Film types. Go to this drop down here and you can see that there's a lot of different films you could emulate. Like Agfa APX 400 is one of my favorite black and white films. and I could emulate that look of that film. The other one I like is, of course, a good old Kodak Tri-Ax 400, which is right there. Doesn't look as good here, but you get the idea. Now in this case here, and by that preset I used, it's just neutral, so it's not using a film type filter for it. Now you could come through and just adjust the grain and whether you want that grain to be soft or hard, so you could change it. Now this part here is sensitivity. This is the black and white mix. Those of you familiar with Lightroom know that when you have a color image in Lightroom, down on the right hand side you have the HSL panel. When you convert the image into black and white, the HSL panel turns into a black and white mix panel. That's exactly what this is. So I could come in for that sky, I'll go to the blue slider, and if I want the sky brighter, just move it to the right. Because we know the sky is blue in the color image, you're affecting only blue tones, or tones that used to be blue in the black and white image. So I come in, make it a little darker. So you come in and affect these sliders, see what they do. Green isn't doing anything. If you want to reset a slider, just double click on it. Yellow is making our lighthouse a little brighter. I kind of like that. All right, red's probably not going to work much. It's making this sign right here. It's affecting that. The grass around it a little bit, it seems. We'll turn that up. But anyway, that's the HSL part, sensitivity they call it here. Levels and curves, it's a tone curve. At the bottom, there's some sliders that kind of emulate levels, if you are familiar with levels in Photoshop. I don't think this image needs any of that. And finally, finishing adjustments. You could color tone your image. This drop down here, you can see different tones. I don't like toning. You have other adjustments too that will help you with toning. Vignette. I don't like the way Silver Efex Pro 2 applies a vignette. I would prefer to do that in Lightroom, so I'll just skip that altogether. Burn edges. This is just some presets I'll show you once. See how it kind of burns the edges. Kind of similar to vignetting. I just don't care for that here. And borders. Do you want to add some type of border to your image? You could do that here as well. I don't care for borders, so I'm not going to do that. So as far as Silver Efex Pro 2 is concerned, I am done. I do want to show you one thing real quick. If those of you that are big fans of Ansel Adams know that he and another photographer, the man's name escapes me at the moment, they developed something called the zone system, so that you could evenly, or at least know the tones in your image and distribute them the way you want them. And if you hover over this area down here, loop histogram, when you're in, let's say, loop mode, or you could do it in histogram mode too. But in loop mode, let's go histogram mode. You'll see at the bottom there's numbers. And if I just go over that 0, you'll see that these little red lines come in over here. That means those are the darkest tones. Those of you familiar with the zone system know that the tones are divided up into 11 different zones, 0 to 10. 0 being the darkest tone. And as I go through, you'll see that little red lines will show you where those tones are in the image. So this could help you process your image the way you want it. If you want images that have like zone 2 and zone 3 dominate the tones, then you could know you're doing it and adjust accordingly. If you want to click one of these on, just let's say I want this to stay on, just click on that zone and it will stay on. Then you could come in and adjust for that zone. Turn it off by clicking on it again. Now hovering over it right now, I don't see any of the brightest tones. 9 and 10. I don't see any in my image. Maybe I want tones there because I prescribe to this system, or subscribe to the system. Is that better? Then I could come in and click on that and then do some adjustments till I see some lines appear. I think it's fine the way it is, so I'm going to click Save. All right, so we'll bring it back in Lightroom. I'll add that vignette and we'll call it a day because I think I've talked enough about Silver Efex Pro 2. So we're going to go to Effects and I like that dark vignette. I like that because it just kind of pushes everyone's attention more towards the middle of the image. So there is the image in a processed image from Silver Efex Pro 2, and here's our original color image right there. And there's our black and white image. So I kind of like it. I like what Silver Efex Pro 2 does. I really think it's probably the best plugin for black and white images that you're processing. Again, I'll have links in the description below this video. Check it out. They have fully working free trials. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.